Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel and to another video of price action trading. And before we get started, let's take a look at the daily chart. Alright, so here we are at the daily chart, and it looks like the two-legged correction has played out, and we might start seeing a little bit more bullish up move now. The bar of the day is looking a little bit neutral, a little bit bearish slanted into it, but it's very close to looking like a doji. But we may see a little bit of continuation of a trend from this point. Let's see how the prices are reacting on a smaller time frame. So on a 2000 tick chart today looked like, on a bigger picture, like a trading range day. We spiked up, we made a few taps here, and then we kind of slowly trended lower. It was a little bit tricky. This wasn't an easy up downtrend to find, because we were always working sideways and it just shot lower. Once again, we are working sideways and you just shot lower, and this was kind of a theme for the day. We were making these small little consolidations, and at the end of them, prices always, spiked lower. So, but I'm gonna talk about it. Don't worry, we'll get to this. So when I came in, prices were spiking up and down through the EMA, and this is, most likely a sign. This is the first sign that we are most likely gonna be in a trading range day. So I draw this trend line, I can see a break and a move to a new high. At this point I was trying to sneak in here for one more quick scalp. Unfortunately I got left behind, but after we made this double top, we can consider this trend done, finished, because the beginning of a day started like a range day. If the beginning of a day prices were flat and we just rally up higher, then there might be a potential for possible uptrend. But since we are chopping up and down at the beginning of a day, this one big move is not enough sign that it is an uptrend. The uptrend ended with the break and a new high here, and then we just kind of made a multiple tops right here. You can see the resistance we're holding strong. So at this point, once we have a break and a new high, you really want to pay attention more now to going short. Even though this looks very bullish, and your common sense might keep telling you that you need to keep buying, you have to throw your common sense out of the window. Your common sense will not help you in your trading. If anything, it will work against you, because the uptrend is over. And we started, as a range day. We were spiking up and down. So with this break and a new high, multiple tops, quadruple tops, I was looking at the shorts now, and it is very counterintuitive thing to do, to going short after such a big move up. But this is why we have these price action rules. They keep us. They basically are trying to help us against the common sense, because common sense is telling us to keep buying here, and this is a wrong thing to do. This is why we need to follow the rules, and we should be focusing on doing counterintuitive things, because that's what trading is all about. We as a traders, we need to humble ourselves, and we need to put our egos aside. So price action right now is telling me, after these four tops, that the resistance is strong. Uptrend has played out, day is looking like a range day, that we might be heading lower. And this is the newest high. This high is higher than this high and higher than this high. So the count start over from this high. Pull back, first entry. This is the first attempt by the bulls to go higher, and pull back, second entry at the EMA. So this setup is a failed second entry long, and I guarantee you they have trapped a lot of people right now on this setup, because it is a second entry. But the uptrend has already played out, and the resistance is strong. There are four tops. This is a quadruple top, and they're not letting us to go higher. So this was a very good trap by the market movers, because a lot of people who rely on common sense, they see this big move up and they still want to go long here. But you need to follow the price action rules. This is why we have those rules in place, so they guard us against the common sense. So it was a beautiful trap, very counterintuitive, because if you look at the right side of the chart, look how counterintuitive it is. This seems so bullish, but remember, I'm repeating this over and over again. We started as looking like a range day, so this is more likely this uptrend is not going to be long and valid. The uptrend finished here, resistance held, and we have a nice trap, failed second entry long. you know, this is a good setup. And you get, if you catch this runner, you can, you know, swing trade this all the way you want. So, you know, one little trade like that can make, you know, 2 weeks of profit if you are careful. So you want to use these, you want to try, the higher you know, sell and the lower you buy, you want to hold your runners as far as you can go. And at this point I drew this trend line. I wasn't really looking for shorts because we were kind of chopping and chopping. And at this point I'm going to show you this trend line that I prepared right here. There is trend line some sort of working like this, but I have actually found this trend line way earlier, and I'm going to show you how, because a lot of times you can find a trend line from the lows. You may find it from the lows first and then drag it higher, and you know, you will see that it fits higher. You can see that these lows and these stems, they are, you know, stacked up in a particular pattern. So if I draw my trend line there like this, I can see that it fits nicely. So this is just a little tip for you guys. When you're trying to figure out where your trend lines are, you don't have to just from the tops trying to find them, or when you're buying from the lows. You can use the other side, and the other side will almost, you know, always, you know, will help you to locate the trend line first. So you can see that the stems are here. You can see that the stems are reacting, prices are reacting to something, to this, and you just drag it higher. And you can see the trend line is fitting here nicely. And later on, which I haven't even noticed, I have noticed this all the way now, that there might be this bigger pattern. If you look at this, the downtrend is now clear and the prices are reacting even here. So we can extend this channel to even this, you know, second part of the channel. So market geometry is very real, and if you learn to find those trend lines, it is helpful. I'm gonna move it just for the side a little bit. So next setup is right here. Pull back first entry, pull back second entry. There is some resistance forming up in here, so this is why I like the trade, and it's a little bit far away from the EMA. It is a second entry, and now we are, you know, still working lower. Even though we have a break and a new low here, I have figured that this trap might be so good. You know, they have trapped a lot of longs here. All the people that went long here, they got trapped. So, but I was mostly playing that we might be forming a little bit of resistance here, and like I said, this turned out to be a theme for the day. We always kind of make a resistance right here and then, you know, break lower. Resistance right here, break lower. It's a very interesting day. These days are not very easy for me to trade because, you know, I always think, you know, it looks like it's going to reverse any minute, and always, you know, it spikes down lower. It's a very interesting day. But yeah, this is a second entry still. It's above the EMA. You got room. You got forming a little bit of resistance. So I think this is a good trade. Not too big of a signal bar, so you don't risk that much. Prices work lower. This is a, you know, chop. This is a mess. You don't want to trade this. You have, I forgot to mark this actually. You have a bounce over trend line, which confirms this trend line, and you get another attempt. Pull back first entry, pull back second entry short from this, you know, upper trend line. The bar is a little bit bigger, so you definitely, even though if you use stops, you definitely want to sneak in a little bit early. But, you know, looking at this bar, you may want to skip this trade. It depends on your tick chart. If your chart had much better signal bar, this is definitely, you know, for sure trade. This is a second entry under the EMA and off the trend line. Just in my case, the signal bar is big and we got quite some stim here, so not ideal. And then we break higher, we have a little bit break, new high, and look at this, pull back first entry, pull back second entry, and notice how once again the resistance is forming. You can see that the prices are not going higher and they're forming a resistance, and we have a failed second entry long from the resistance. A nice little, you know, bar. You don't have to risk that much. So if you were quick enough, you could have made this, you could have caught this trade, because you can see the trap. It's, you know, one big bullish bar. You can tell that they trapped a lot of traders. But the correction right here has played out. New high, it's off the resistance, and it's a failed second entry long. We broke above this bar, so this is the first entry, pull back, and we broke above this bar right here, so this is a second entry. A little bit, you know, not so extremely visible, but it is still there, and it is a triple top, so this is a good setup too. and prices went into consolidation. Unfortunately, there's no trade here because the trend line, this trend line is holding, you know, and you don't know it's for whatever reason it just broke lower. We don't know why, you know. It might be that this, you know, the resistance is still holding, but you know, there is no setup, there is not even a lower high for us, nothing. You just have to let it watch. You don't, because next time you take this short, you know, it will reverse on you and bounce higher. So you just have to let this go. There is no, you know, sign according to rules for us to go short here, so we have to watch this go. You have a pullback first entry and the second entry. The thing is, this is quite a big bar, and you're still, you know, you don't have a break and a new high. But I'll tell you this, it was very tempting to take this, because at this point this is clearly a downtrend. We are, you know, now working lower, and it is a second and not failed, it is a second entry short under the EMA that is holding. So this is not a bad setup. I just like to wait for this one, you know, move higher, one more attempt to, you know, make the new high. The resistance is still holding, it is a lower high, EMA is still holding. This is a good trade, because you now want to be focusing only on selling, you don't want to be focusing on buying. Even here you can see the proven support. I wouldn't recommend, you know, going long, because the market is now trending lower, and you can see the EMA is starting holding really nicely, so pay attention to that. The prices reacted next then to this resistance. Once again, the theme for the day. You don't want to go short just that. It is, even though it is a second entry, you're still in this trend line. But once we make this attempt to go higher, and we felt instantly lower high from the resistance in a downtrend, I think it's worth the going short here. You know, I didn't expect the move to be that big, and we finished up the day with second entry short up, you know, off the EMA. This is such a visible setup that even new people can see this. You have a break, new high, at least attempt to make a new high, because the EMA is holding. Two-legged pullback to the EMA, because market likes to move in twos, and it's a second entry in a downtrend. So quick little scalp to finish up, and now we can see that we're working a little bit higher. So unfortunately it's already, you know, Friday and very late, so you don't want to be taking any trade into, you know, closing hours, because the market will get choppy and you may not even get filled, and you will be left hanging. So you be careful. You want to exit earlier, you don't want to be trading at the close. So it was for the day. Just remember, when the day starts looking like a range, looking rangy, you can rely more that the uptrend is not going to be, you know, long lasting. With the break and a new extreme, you can consider this uptrend, you know, done, because we started as a range. If we just started flat like this and suddenly we shot a higher out of nowhere, then there is a possibility that there might be some uptrend like this, but it didn't happen in this case. We were ranging early on. So you can see the trend line is very fitting nicely. There's definitely market geometry is real. So keep studying your charts, and just try to, you know, not rely on common sense, because excuse me, because common sense will, you know, work against you in trading. That's just the way that, you know, market is operating. This is why 95% traders are losing traders, because they rely, you know, they may be successful in real life, so they think they're gonna come in here and learn this in a few months and they're gonna outsmart the market. Trust me, nobody outsmarts the market. It takes years of practice, and we have to follow these rules to, you know, help us. And you need to be strong mentally, because even though you follow the rules, you have experience, still everybody has these inner demons that work against you, and you have to, you know, stay strong and constantly reinforce yourself, you know, with good thoughts, because, you know, those inner demons, you know, I fight them almost daily. You know, even after so many years, almost a decade of experience, I still get these thoughts. They're trying to, you know, get me out of the good trades, and they're trying to force me into bad trades. So if you think, you know, you're gonna learn to read the chart and you're gonna be carefree forever, you got another thing coming, because unfortunately our psychology works that way that we always have to battle those inner demons. And it's not like, you know, it's a tough battle, because once you get experience you will learn to manage it much better, but you will still, you know, be always a little bit, you know, walking on eggshells. So definitely that's a normal for almost all traders. Every trader has these inner demons, you know, so you're not the only one, and there's nothing wrong with you. So keep working. Tomorrow is Saturday, yeah. So, you know, print your charts or go back through them on your software and look where have you made the mistakes and what trades you took good, because this is the only way you're gonna get better, by watching this and studying your chart. So, and you want to, you know, mark the chart just like I did, so you kind of know what to follow. So I wish you a safe weekend, and hopefully this was insightful to you, and drop a like button and subscribe for more to see good stuff. Thank you guys. Bye guys.